Hi everyone, I'm Marla Miller from marlamiller.com, presenting another quick query critique. This is our 64th or something like that. I know, I can't keep track of them. A couple of things I'm going to be including in this newsletter, this week's newsletter, my schedule for the upcoming Santa Barbara Writers Conference. It promises to be a pretty exciting conference, and now that the planning is done for it, I'm looking forward to actually teaching there. So I'll be doing 5 workshops, and also will be moderating the new media panel, and I'm going to be introducing an evening speaker, Drusella Campbell, who is a terrific novelist and terrific teacher. So I'm just delighted to be doing that as well. All right, this is a query letter. Keep them coming. I know that I'm only doing them once a week. I'm actually going to try and do 2 a week, but don't hold me to that. I'm just really crunched right now. So, when I can come up for air, I promise I will get back to doing 2 a week, whether it's in one newsletter or in 2. All right, let's do this one. Dear Blank, it was a pleasure meeting you after the publishing panel at Queen's University. Your description of the relationship between an agent and an author reflected my own feelings about the importance of collaboration. Over 100,000 people die every year from hospital errors, a fact I was not familiar with when I fell in love with a screenwriter who kept me laughing every day. Fade to Black, my 64,000-word memoir, is a love story shattered by medical mistakes. After 9 short years of marriage, my husband, Alan, had a minor surgery that spiraled into 4 months of medical mistakes. Through the GI bleed, the tear in his brain, and other problems brought on by negligent care, I worked hard to keep my husband alive. Finally, the shot of insulin he wasn't supposed to receive resulted in Alan falling into a coma that his doctor described as, quote, his body is healthy, but his mind is gone. The decision to continue his life was up to me. Would Alan want to live as just a body in bed, his mind forever trapped in nothingness? Fade to Black put a human face on medical mistakes as it chronicles my husband's story in the hope that our struggle, the good, the bad, and the eye-opening will help others avoid the same tragic fate. With a BFA in theater and years of writing screenplays with my husband, I recently received my MFA in creative writing from Queen's University in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm an active member of, she names a writer's society, and I lead a weekly writer's workshop in Memoir. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to your response. Sincerely. Okay. So what do I think of Fade to Black? Well, I think that it's in terms of the writing itself in the query letter, I have no problem with it at all. She certainly can write, or at least write a query letter. But there's problems in this query letter, so let me just talk about that for a little bit. She spends the first paragraph letting whoever know that they had met before. So that's okay to do that, but she probably spends 10, 20, maybe, I don't know how many words, but maybe 100 words, maybe a little less. I would not spend those 100 words on that. Talking about how your sensibility and the agent's sensibility are congruent. I wouldn't do that. I would just say we met. I told you I'd pitch. Here it is. So remind the agent, but really don't do anything more than that. Whether you agree with her or not, you're wasting words. And in a query letter, words are at a premium, so don't waste words. Okay. Fade to Black, a memoir, is essentially about a woman who loses her husband through medical malpractice. And she says that through this memoir, she's going to be able to help other people avoid that kind of crisis when they receive health care. So here's what I want to know. How? If you're telling me that in this memoir it's going to help people avoid what you could not avoid, then that sounds to me like a memoir that has some information in it other than your own personal experience. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, it could be that I'm reading just a little too much into Fade to Black because my background is in healthcare, as many of you know, and I have actually worked in medical malpractice on and off for a number of years. And this writer is absolutely right. People really need to know how many blunders are made in hospitals daily. So how is this memoir going to add to that enlightenment so that people reading it can avoid what this couple was not able to avoid? If that's what this memoir is about, I don't see any information here that's going to elucidate that. Medical malpractice, did she, was there a medical malpractice suit? I would want to know that. What's this about? It's about a woman who loses her husband, but then what? It's 64,000 words about what? What's the meat of this going to be? And actually, in this query, I don't see it. I know that it sounds like he had error after error after error committed on this poor guy. And boy, my heart goes out. But I don't know what this book essentially is about. If it's about reinventing yourself after your husband dies, then the tragedy is really just a launching for that. Do you see that? If it's about how she got so enraged about it that she went into the system and learned all about medical malpractice and maybe even sued and maybe learned more and et cetera, I'd want to know that, if that's what this book is about. So I don't know what the memoir is going to focus on, other than the fact that this woman sounds like she lost the love of her life, which is a very sad story. So I know that that's probably not what this author wants to hear. I love the title, by the way. But if it's going to be about this screenwriter's arc, which is, he goes into the hospital for a minor procedure and then he dies or becomes a vegetable, then let's flesh that out here in this query letter, because at this point we really don't know. We know that shit happened, and that's about all that we know. And so this author has some work to do in Fade to Black. However, I would encourage her to, if she's going to be writing a book about medical malpractice and her own personal experience, I think there's a huge market for that, and I think there's going to be even more of a market because there's lots of things going on in that arena right now. But we need to know that in the query letter, and at this point I don't. So I'm sorry to be the bearer of not so great news, although I do like the idea. I like the concept very, very much. I hope this is helpful. Until the next time, be well. Keep writing.